they were given intelligence to. So Khamenei, for his own political naivety, took last year's endorsement by Trump, or the kind of pullback for Israel, at the green light that he would still be protected. And that was his biggest mistake. So what we have now at the moment is that the Americans have realized that the Iranian street demonstrations needs a new regime. And so the Americans have to remove their old elements in power, and they need to reconstruct a new one.
Yes.
And I think, and therefore what they've done, as you can see, they targeted specifically. They took out Khamenei, they've taken out, so again, more military advisors as well. And Donald Trump said, and Al Jazeera reported this, he said, we have leaders in Iran and we know who they are. Yes? So they didn't just attack, because attacking without putting ground forces on the ground and expecting the people to rise up, yes, is not rational. Or the IRGC to give in and surrender is not rational. It means to take over. It means that they already have people in the regime which they want to put in place, yes, as a new front for America, and effectively wipe out the old front. So there's a background here which has been brewing for many decades. And I like just to add one more thing. I understand the emotional kind of anti-American position of the Muslim and larger world. But we've been here before. We saw Saddam Hussein. They built him up. They built up his army and etc. And then when they attacked, we realized Saddam Hussein's whole regime was very hollow. And we're seeing that again with Iran. They built it up. Even today, the general staff of the Iranian army gave a announcement or briefing that essentially they will, revenge this and revenge America. This is all bluster. We've all heard this for decades now against America. But the fact is that Hezbollah has not acted. The proxies have not acted in Iraq. The proxies have not acted in Yemen. Yes, they've just given their support. There's no action then, which means this thing about them sending missiles over Dubai, whatever it is, these are pinpricks. All of these bases, American bases, have already been vacated. Yeah, these have no impact. They've not attacked the naval presence of America in the Gulf. That is where you should be targeting if you're going to target. So, despite the fact that their supreme leader has been assassinated, there has been absolutely no action from Iran apart from these.
Isn't that part of the course with this region? There's a lot of talk, but if you go back to leaders, even the Hamas leader being assassinated, the gates of hell would be opened. I mean, very muted. Saddam Hussein, when he was overthrown, very muted. Syria, that dictator had to flee. When you look at, all the instances where there's been a lot of bluster, and it was like, I think they fooled the West into thinking that this has to be a red line. The Israelis, and now obviously Donald Trump has proven there is no red line. They can do whatever they want and act as they want, whenever they want and however they want, because this region, the Muslim world, is so disunited and so fractured that it cannot even come to a unified position where they attack or where they can condemn the Israeli attack on the Iranians. Listen, just
sorry, can I just add one? Can I one other thing?
Very quickly, because I've got another guest coming in, but please do. Go on,
self-contained, because the fact is that Iran, this kind of circus of the nuclear issue, if they had built the nuclear bomb, they would not be in this position now. They joined the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, which is an optional. They didn't have to go through this. North Korea, Pakistan, they built their weapons very quickly. Yes. They could have, within a fraction of the time that they've been doing this media circus on the nuclear issue talks, they could have built the bomb by now. Yes, and that would have been a different reality now than what exists today. So they had no intention of building that bomb. Okay, and that was the problem.
Well, let's go to my next guest. Sheikh Adnan Rashid, welcome to Islam Channel's news coverage on the war on Iran, I suppose. What do you make of this? Did the Iranians make a huge blunder in not getting a nuclear weapon? Okay, we're waiting for him.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry,
thank
yes.
you so much for inviting me to address this point and other points. I believe Iran had the capability of building the nuclear weapon, and they didn't do it because they were pressured, they were sanctioned. There was a lot of scrutiny as to the nuclear program, and clearly Israel wasn't very happy with the nuclear program, and U.S. was following, I believe, instructions from Israel. Although a lot of people don't see that to be very feasible, but I think it's Israel that's dictating policies to people like Donald Trump and other American politicians. Now everyone's talking about it, or even influentials within the U.S., people like Tucker Carlson and others who are raising these questions as to how much control the Israel lobby has over U.S. policies. So the pressure was coming from the U.S. mainly, okay? And Iranians were under immense pressure. Perhaps this is the reason why they couldn't build the bomb, because they were under extreme scrutiny. But I was listening to the interview of the Omani foreign minister, who was part of the negotiations between Iran and the U.S., and he mentioned specifically that Iran was willing to give up all its ambitions as far as the nuclear weapon is concerned. They wanted to give away their stockpiles and everything.
Adnan, you were right. They were willing to do what Gaddafi did in Libya and basically give up everything just to be reintegrated in the community, into the international community. But they didn't. In your view, I mean, you've been quite critical of the Iranians because of their policies in Syria, their promotion of a very revolutionary form of Shia Islam and their destabilizing actions, as you would see them, across the Middle East and perhaps the Muslim world. Are you pleased that at least somebody's taken action against what you were always calling a regime? I mean, you called it fireworks when they last intervened, as they would call it, for the Palestinians. What's your view today?
Look, I have a very unpopular view on this conflict. I get a lot of criticism for this. My view is that both entities, as far as Muslims are concerned, the State of Israel and the State of Iran, or the current regime of Iran, are very, very damaging to Muslim interests in the Middle East. Israel is occupying territory. Israel is sabotaging a lot of Muslim interest in the Middle East. And Iran, on the other hand, wasn't playing a very positive role either. Yes. Iran devastated Syria, Iran devastated Yemen, Iran took over Iraq, and the Iranian regime actually supported the US invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq. This is on record. This has been acknowledged. And
so are you pleased? Are you pleased then, Adnan, that they are? You know, I had a previous guest, Rabah Fateh, a Middle East expert. He said the regime will not be able to survive 2-3 weeks of incessant attacks on the state, basically, on the infrastructure of the state.
I believe the Iranian regime is already no more. It has lost support completely within the country. 81% of the Iranians are against the regime. If the statistics are correct,
I think you're spot on there. Yes.
Yeah. So if 81% of the people are against you within the country, you have no chance of surviving. So I believe Iranian regime's time was over, and the US and Israel moved in to ensure that whatever transition takes place in Iran, they have influence on that transition, and they can choose who may be the leader, the next leader. We hope it's not a Zionist puppet state replacing this extremely sectarian Shia regime that is on its way out. Okay. We hope that the transition is peaceful. We hope the transition is beneficial for the Iranian people. Iranian people deserve the best of this life. They have suffered for very long under an extremely sectarian regime, and they have suffered due to the embargoes and sanctions put against Iran. Of course, why these sanctions are put against Iran is a very interesting question. It's another question. But I believe, if you're asking me, am I pleased with the outcome? I would be pleased with the outcome if the current Iranian regime was neutralized without damage to the Iranian people, and if the Zionist state of Israel was somehow neutralized without any damage to the Palestinian people, because these two entities have caused major damage to the Muslims in the Middle East.
Thank you, Adnan, for that. I'll pause you at that point. Nizar Tobe, we've got you online. I'm really pleased to have met you after quite a bit of a gap, actually. But, I spoke to you many times during the Syrian revolution and obviously those momentous events in 2024 when finally they the people overthrew its dictator. Noted that Ahmed al-Shara in his statement was condemning the Iranians for its attack on the Gulf region. Presumably that's because the Syrians are very pleased that finally the regime that caused them so much trouble or so much, was responsible for its oppression as you would have seen it, is finally about to fall. Is that how Syrians mainly feel? What's your feeling?
Indeed, very much so. Thank you very much, Mas, for having me once again. This is our second very much happy day after our Liberation Day on 8th of December 2024. Mm-hmm. We are extremely happy. We are over the moon. Our nastiest enemy have been killed. The man, the devil of Khamenei has been got rid of. This is the man in the help of his men, of Qasem Soleimani and the other of the Revolutionary Guards, have committed massacres in Syria. This is the revenge of thousands of children, women, civilians, innocent Syrian people have been killed. And you can see that from their response, they are responding by firing rockets to Gulf states and to the area, to Jordan, in addition, of course, to Israel. So basically our situation or our position is that two enemies is fighting each other. Israel is our enemy, and Iran, the regime of Iran, is our enemy. And whatever results from this war is towards our benefit, because whatever casualties they achieve from each other is for our benefits. So far, unfortunately, Iran did not cause much casualties in Israel, but Israel have caused the loss of all the first-line leadership of Iran. This is very much good results. Maybe, as I said, we are extremely happy.
Okay.
I cannot congratulate Israel, unfortunately, because they are our enemies. But we cannot hide our joy and our happiness, because finally justice, God's justice, is being achieved. The dua, the prayer of all the injustice, the killed people in our Syria have been responded to.
Okay, well, thank you. That's what I wanted to know, and I'm really pleased you said that in a very eloquent manner. Noman Hanif, I think all three of you have expressed views which are not the mainstream view in the Muslim world. I know today if you go online, there's a lot of sorrow and a lot of support for the Iranians amongst Sunni Muslims as well, because they see this as the last bastion of opposition to Israel, as the only ones who could have done it, could have got a nuclear weapon, could have fired the weapon.
There's a reason for that.
Noman, go for it quickly.
It's Adnan.
Oh, sorry, Adnan
here, yeah.
My question was to Noman, but go on, you come in and I'll go back to Noman as well.
I was going to say that there's a reason why people feel so strongly towards Iran. They have this sympathy for Iran because they think Iran was the only country defending Palestinians. People like myself say that this cannot be true, because if they were defending Palestinians on humanitarian grounds or religious grounds, let's say, they wouldn't have committed a genocide in Syria. Close to 1 million people were killed in Syria, and they were killed directly through Iranian support.
But you know, Adnan,
if it wasn't for Iran,
just to jump in, they see that differently. Inter-Muslim wars are like normal. You know, we have wars amongst ourselves, but it's when external people who are not Muslims, the Israelis, for example, or the Americans or the British or others throughout the centuries, the Crusaders, for example, were meant to be uniting together against the common enemy. I mean, isn't that just a normal thing?
But even historically speaking, the Crusaders could not be confronted successfully until the Shia Fatimid dynasty was neutralized by Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi. I had this theory, and I still have this theory. Al-Quds cannot be liberated so long as we have a strong sectarian Shia Iran right in the middle of the Middle East. Unfortunately, you cannot win a war against an enemy like the Zionists until you have your back secured. And right in the middle of the Middle East, or behind the backs of the Muslims, we have Iran. So the Iranian regime consistently stabbed the Muslims in the back in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in the Gulf region. So there is no doubt that this regime has been very, very detrimental to Muslim interest in the Middle East, Muslim geopolitical interest. And I agree with your previous guest that this is a good news that this regime is actually on its way out. One enemy neutralized, another enemy, and eventually Zionists will meet their end as well. There is justice in this world. There is justice in the hereafter, and justice will be served.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Adnan. You've summed it up really well. I'm coming to the last 2 minutes. Have we got Noman Hanifi? Are you listening? Because I don't want to be disrespectful.
I'm here, yes.
Noman, you've heard our two contributors, Nizar, obviously, from Syria. I want to get him back right at the end for a final word. But what do you make of what Dr. Adnan has said and what Nizar Tobe have said?
I think I can understand their sentiments and some of their views, but I think the Muslim world has a larger issue here. Is that what we're witnessing basically is that the replacement of one American agent to another, and that's consistently happened. They destroyed a British agent, Saddam, in Iraq, and they replaced him with an American puppet. They destroyed Libya, then they replaced him with another American puppet. They destroyed Syria, and then they replaced it with Ahmad Shara, who is another American puppet.
Sure.
Yes, and the Iranian regime is not going to be any different. Yes. Saudi Arabia is an American puppet. The Pakistani military and political leadership is an American puppet. What we have is a bigger problem here is political. The Muslim world is politically naive. They keep falling into the trap and they keep expecting things from these countries, which is not gonna happen.
Thank you. Noman, I'll pause you on that because I've only got 30 seconds. Appreciate you joining us. Nizar Tobe, Muslim world is just naive. We're naive.
No, I don't agree at all, because actually Iran is the devil, and I'm glad we got rid of it, and hopefully the Iranian people will continue their revolution and get rid of the Wali al-Faqih, because he's the devil.
Okay, look, I'll pause.
But Nizar, can I say something, Nizar? But America is the bigger devil. It's the one who put the little devil there.
Okay,
so you can't just go after the Iranians as being devils, because you've got to go after Americans with amateur
Thank
ideas.
you.
We're
having a discussion about the devils, but I'm pretty sure I'll get you back on. Thank you so much for being so civil and airing your views in such a polite way. Dr. Adnan Rashid, appreciate you joining us as well. Folks, that's all we've got for time for, unfortunately. We're going back to faith-based programming for the remainder of today. I hope you've enjoyed the lineup and the guests that we've had, and also the range of views that we've had in what are absolutely epoch-changing events in the Middle East. Everybody out there who's got family, hope they stay safe, and all the best for the rest. Thank you.